Might have to turn that off. All right, we are live again.
We are. We're
back.
live again.
All right, so everybody, here we are.
My phone lit up again.
Yeah, see that.
Oh, well. I had to tell everybody we're back live, dude. Now, let's see. Oh, I didn't get a notice saying that we were forgiven.
They might not have been able to get a hold of him tonight. He probably turned his phone off.
All right, people. Now we can actually get into our show. Yes, my heat's been on. My furnace has been rolling.
3, no heat.
Huh?
I have not.
You didn't turn the heat on yet?
No, we're just sitting here freezing. It was 60 degrees here, but inside it just feels really cold. So I probably will end up turning it on tonight.
Yeah, run the disclaimer. Thank God Joe comes on.
Yeah.
Thank God Joe comes on.
Yeah, thank you. Helping us stay on. Barely.
Come across this video. I sent it to Doug. It's actually pretty funny. Doug, you want to play it now?
Yeah. I'm just waiting on a couple more people here. Joe Gibbs put in a pellet stove today. Marty's got his heat on.
Yeah,
you're sitting in the garage with no heat, though.
I'm sitting in the garage with the garage door open, no heat.
Oh, you got the garage door open too. So we're going to check in with our leader,
government leader, who I got a government fight going on right now, but I'll tell you about it later, Doug. I can't discuss mine.
Okay. He's having problems. Believe it or not, he's got some mental issues going on.
Hey, he forgot where he grew up.
Just who is the US president? Joe Biden seems to be having an identity crisis lately. Is the president a 79-year-old white man born and raised in Scranton, Pennsylvania? Or is he in fact black?
I got raised in the black church. He knows I'm not kidding. I got my education for real in the black church. And that's not hyperbole, it's a fact.
Perhaps the president was raised as a Latino, or as Jill Biden prefers to call them, a breakfast taco.
And so I was sort of raised in the Puerto Rican community at home politically.
Or perhaps he is an observant member of the Jewish community.
I probably went to shul more than many of you did. You all think I'm kidding. He can tell you I'm not.
No wonder the poor dude is thoroughly confused, and the president is also confused about other aspects of his life. Here he claims that he knows how Hurricane Ian victims are feeling because he too almost lost his home.
I know from experience how much anxiety and fear and concern there are in the people. We didn't lose our whole home, but lightning struck and we lost an awful lot of it about 15 years ago.
But according to the media reports at the time, the Bidens did not lose an awful lot of their home, as the president claimed there. Indeed, the local media reported that lightning struck the home of Senator Joseph Biden, starting a small fire that was contained to the kitchen. When he's not lying about kitchen fires and how he was raised, the president is making perplexing claims like this.
And New York sent not only a congresswoman in the Congress, but the state troopers and emergency responders.
Now, in case you missed that, the president said, and I quote, these are his precise words, New York sent not only a congresswoman, one of the most congresswomen in the Congress. Well, you can't get any more clear than that, can you?
Yes. Yes, you can.
You get a lot more clear.
Hold on. Let me bring this one up because he's touting that. Let me find it here. He made it very, very, very clear that you tell me what the price tag is of this. Here we go.
We passed look, what I ran on, I said we're going to deal with energy.
Right.
And the energy problem, we're going to deal with the whole notion of global warming. We passed $368 billion worth of help, which, as the same bankers talk about, is going to bring $1.7 trillion off the sidelines in investment.
God, how are we allowing this to happen? Wait, but there's more.
So it was a trillion. It was 7 trillion. Go ahead.
Okay, he said $1,750,000,000.
380. Yeah. What the fuck?
All right.
All right.
Now here his poor son died in Iraq. Now this is the same Bo that died from cancer.
Right.
Not funny, but
It ain't funny.
But listen to him go at it.
This is the father of a man who won the Bronze Star, the Conspicuous Service Medal, and lost his life in Iraq. Imagine the courage, the daring, and the genuine sacrifice they all made. After the war ended, Camp Hale became the hub for innovation and winter warfare. And even when it closed in 1965, many veterans returned to the area. Some became scientists who studied rock glaciers, endangered animals, and wetland forests. Many returned to heal their wounds, both visible and invisible, seeking the solace and sovereign and serenity in ways that only nature can do.
He said in that
his son lost his life in Iraq.
Yes. What if you are a Biden supporter?
You gotta be
bad at this point, saying we got a problem.
Let me bring some in, and I should probably just shut my mouth, okay? Because but I'm gonna say it because that ain't me. So
I seen that, Greg.
What did he say?
He was kid sniffing again.
Oh yeah,
I get video on it.
But his son lost his fight with cancer.
Mm-hmm.
His son was in the United States when he lost his fight with cancer. Now, I sympathize with that. Nobody should lose a job. But he's acknowledging his son losing his life in Iraq. But he still ain't acknowledging 13 soldiers in Afghanistan, Doug.
Exactly.
That did lose their lives.
Yes.
In battle.
For real.
Yes. We both got it.
Wow. We sorry. This is what happens.
We both got it.
When you hit a subject they don't like.
and that's all it is. Here's what it is. Now, on Mississippi, team. Here's what it is. We just showed what an ignorant bastard we got as a president. 2 clips of stupidity. 3 clips. Pure stupidity. And him is just making major screw ups and speeches to the public nationally on news. Facebook don't want that out there. They got busted again. What was it, last week, Doug? Facebook got busted again. They got 2 whistleblowers went to the Congress, I believe.
Yeah,
Went to Congress.
and that let me pull that up here. Okay, Facebook. Just so you know, and I'm going to put the link in here so you can look at it. Back when COVID was a big issue, Facebook, I guess, got into an agreement with the government, and what they wanted to do was reduce user exposure to what they called VH, which is vaccine hesitancy. If you had a post that said, I'm not sure about this, I don't know, government's making
Or in my opinion,
it was taken down, or it was not allowed to go beyond, your small circle of friends. Not
or
everybody.
they restricted who could see it.
Correct. Now, they had meetings, they had all kinds of stuff on it. It was almost like the more that they did, the better they got, almost like a reward. Oh, you got the highest numbers in doing that.
And they met with the administration, not Biden himself, but Biden's administration, once, twice a month over this stuff.
Yeah. So
the FBI administration.
This is Project Veritas again. They sent somebody in to try to get somebody to open up. 2 people did open up, and the video's there in a whole long explanation. Plus, you can see the actual emails. You can see what they were told to do. You can see the statistics that they had. And so it's real. Facebook decides what they want to let out, whatnot. They think President Biden is doing a great job.
Yeah, so, I mean, honestly, for both of us, we both got booted. I had to go off and come back through the live stream, come back on.
Actually, I couldn't do anything till I came back on.
Yeah, so here's the deal. You touch on subjects like what a bumbling idiot he is, and you start showing the videos of it. It's just like when we showed Obama, talking about what he was talking, man, we got smacked hard. We didn't say it. He said it. They said it. We played the video. Just like now.
In Japan for that.
We got banned in Japan. But YouTube nailed us. Twice now. I've talked about my experiences with the vaccine. Twice YouTube suspended us for 1 week. Hey, twice they suspended us for 1 week. The first time we got a 1 week suspension, it was 7-8 weeks for. We've been suspended for 1 week, and it's going on, 10 weeks, Doug?
Oh, yeah, at least.
Yeah, 10 weeks. And they won't even return our stuff back. So we get thrown off like that, stay on where you're at. We'll be back on because, it
happens.
Facebook does not want some shit out, period. The closer we get to this election, the more this will happen to us. Trust me.
Right. Now, we talked earlier. This guy is running a country, and he can't even figure out where his son died. And this is just
last week we showed you he's calling out for a woman that was killed a month ago, calling her out of the ground. So, Jackie, where are you?
Right.
He's in her.
And a eulogy for her.
Yeah.
But anybody that voted for Biden's got to be I would think, saying, "Wow, this is bad. This is really, really, really bad."
Oh,
At
there's
least
some people
admit
think
that.
it's okay.
Yeah, at least admit, wow,
No,
we have a problem. They
they're
wouldn't
not
even
gonna.
get it. Tell without names and all that. Just talk about the incident you had.
Listen, this car pulled up in my garage. Well, up and I'm talking to him, and my phone rang. I said, "You want to answer that?" And I showed him it was DJ Swearingen. And nope, we're leaving. We're leaving. I said, "Well, he's coming by to give me a hat and a sign." Nope, we're leaving. I said, "So, you believe in same-sex marriage, gay rights, and stuff like that?" Well, I didn't say that. The guy that turned against him pushed. It was one of the attorneys. It went in front of the Supreme Courts in Ohio to push for same-sex marriage being recognized in the state of Ohio. Obergefell is his name, running against Swearingen. And so you're out the driveway. Guarantee you, when they go into election polls, secretly he'll vote for Swearingen. Now, I don't care. Once here we go. Watch, Facebook will cut us again. I went into this spiel last week. I don't care if you're gay or not. I don't care. My beliefs are a man and a woman. If you want to be recognized as married, that's fine. And that I don't believe in that, but I'm not gonna not talk to you, so to speak, Doug. You know what I mean? If you walk up and you're there, whatever. That's your right, whatever you want to be. But because my beliefs aren't that way, I'm not going to vote for that man. I'm not going to vote for him. Period. That's his beliefs, which way that we should be, and that's not my belief. So that's his right. I'm not. But the thing of it is so many people don't know who they're voting for, Doug. And it's the same way with Biden.
Exactly.
They don't know the actual. They don't know the actual. What his background was. He might tell you my background is in the industry of construction, fighting for workers' rights and this, that, and the other. Well, that's one part of your background. What about this background over here that you did getting up to this point? Let's hear about that.
I just don't understand, and everybody that we come in contact to that's a Biden supporter really goes off when you start. I had an incident last week. We were just starting to talk about it, just general stuff, nothing heavy, and this lady just got just really aggravated, and she left. She didn't want to hear no more about it. Your guy is killing the country, basically killing the country. But
the thing, Marty, you're right.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to talk about.
Yeah, the alternatives are worse. But Doug, the problem I have, being a registered Democrat from Democrat Blue for years, the problem I have is this. I'm a registered Democrat and know the difference of what's good and bad. Okay? I know what's good and bad, who to vote for, because of common sense. Now, hold on. The problem is this. The far left, they will not, when they know they don't have an answer good enough. How you doing, Todd? When they know they don't have an answer to any debate that you have, they all go, anybody else notice, they all go to the same thing. I'm not talking about this no more. And they leave. Yeah. They have nothing else to give you. They leave.
Remember what it was earlier? But when he first got in, it was more about, whenever you brought it up, it was about Trump. Well, it's better than what Trump was doing.
Yeah, Trump's an asshole. I didn't like the way he was.
Now they can't even hang on to that.
No. What policies didn't you like? Well, I don't like him. What policies? I don't like him either, but I liked his policies.
Yeah, we are, aren't we? Aren't we, kid?
Oh, yeah. We're color matching.
So when you go to the poll, you say I'm a registered Democrat or a Republican, and just click and
Well,
say
no.
no, you say this guy's got some great ideas, and he may not be in your party,
Well,
but
it's evident that I don't. I voted for Trump. I voted for Swearingen. I voted for Matt Olds in Erie County. I voted for Republicans. Okay. I'm technically an independent. Okay. Because there's some Republicans like Mike DeWine. He's terrible. I'll write in. I can't think of his name, and now it slipped me. I'll write in the governor that's a write-in for
but
governor.
but generally you don't go party line. You say, okay, this guy's
Absolutely not. I do not go party line. I
why
know
doesn't
people that do.
right. You just had that. You just had that. And
I
that's
know
what I
people
don't
that do.
understand, because if they would look into his background, Swearingen, and what he's done over the last couple years in
You know what I got? He's not from around here. He moved here 10 years, 12 years ago. What the fuck's that matter?
right.
Biden, Clinton, all them, they weren't from D.C., but they're living there. You know what I'm saying? I mean, they're not from Ohio,
Right.
but here, and maybe some of you will understand this. Our parents, back in the day, when I was in school, grade school and shit, it was a straight line ticket, man. You had diehard Republicans went in there and voted straight line Republican. Diehard Democrats went and voted diehard straight line Democrat. Now, I don't think that's right.
Right.
Yeah, but the thing of it is, Marty, is you got to take a hard look. They manipulated the census.
Yes.
We lost seats in the red states and put them over in the blue states because of the census.
That just came
So
out.
they've already manipulated this election.
What we talked about 4 weeks ago.
Yeah, they've already manipulated this election. Whether you believe it or not, they've already manipulated this election with the census.
Right.
And you're right. The fact is, Marty, this you guys are gonna fucking laugh at me, but I think honestly, here in a few weeks is one of the most important elections that I've been involved in my life. Honestly.
Are you ever going to change over or not?
Yeah, I'm gonna actually go to independent. I don't like being on one party or another.
Okay.
I don't like being on saying I'm a Republican. I'm a Democrat. I'm a fucking American, and I vote whoever I think does the best job.
Right.
And that's the problem. Is
but you've been doing that all your life anyhow.
Yeah, and I've got shit. My whole family is, older uncles, aunts, great uncles, mom, dad, and grand. It's been blue, and still blue. You know what I'm saying? I don't know how it's going to hurt if I go independent. I mean,
because you're still going to vote for Republicans and Democrats.
I mean, I don't want to declare a party because I'll be honest with you. A lot of the Republican Party's just as crooked. Anybody can sit there and tell me Mike DeWine ain't as crooked as the rest of them, I'll laugh at you. We heard about the First Energy, Ohio Edison deal for 2 years. All of a sudden, Mike DeWine gets struggling. You don't hear shit about it, do you, Doug?
No.
Quieted up real quick, didn't it?
Mm-hmm.
He's up for election. So,
So, Tulsi Gabbard.
Yeah.
Now, this lady, I was just following a lot of the candidates for president. She was one of them. And you remember during that time, there was an impeachment going on for Trump because I thought, if they wait any longer, they might as well not even do it because he's going to be out of office. Remember that era time?
Yeah.
Okay, so they did the what do they call it? Roll call for the
Impeachment.
She said she was there, but she said present. She wouldn't say yay or nay. And her reason for that was, well, I can see where he did wrong, but I also see where this is along political lines. And I sent an email because I was absolutely pissed about it. And I said, I would never, what?
Keep on 1 second. Tammy, on some of the elections where they're doing away with it, where you got to vote like when we voted back in May. Was it May we voted, Doug?
Yeah.
Yeah, you got party lines. This election coming up in November, an independent can vote. You don't have to declare. When you vote for May, like when what was the guy that ran against that we were liked against DeWine on the Republican side? What was his name? He got the beard and the cowboy hat.
Blystone.
Blystone was running against DeWine for the Republican ticket for November. So you go in and you're supposed to get, okay, I'm Republican. That's on that. I'm Democrat. That's on that. So the problem was in May, you could have voted all the way around. You know that, Doug? That was when they trick bagged everybody. So, all right, go ahead. I just want to explain that, Doug. I'm sorry. I don't want to. Go ahead.
I agree with this too.
Yeah, I know. You're right. But anyways.
So anyhow, Tulsi Gabbard got a piece of my mind because I sent her an email and I said I would never, ever, ever vote for you because you can't make a decision. This is what this is all about. She was running for president and she knew she was going to alienate one side or the other, whatever she did. So
she did the chicken shit move, and we talked
exactly,
about it.
And that's kind of what I put in there. Is you just went down the middle of the road just to save yourself. Now she's decided that she's going to switch. So let me. She's going to tell you. Let's have her tell you what she's going to do.
I can no longer remain in today's Democratic Party that's under the complete control of an elitist cabal of warmongers who are driven by cowardly wokeness, who divide us by racializing every issue and stoking anti-white racism, who actively work to undermine our God-given freedoms that are enshrined in our Constitution, who are hostile to people of faith and spirituality, who demonize the police but protect criminals at the expense of law-abiding Americans, who believe in open borders, who weaponize the national security state to go after their political opponents, and above all, who are dragging us ever closer to nuclear war. Now, I believe in a government that's of the people, by the people, and for the people. Unfortunately, today's Democratic Party does not. Instead, it stands for a government that is of, by, and for the powerful elite. Now, I'm calling on my fellow common sense, independent-minded Democrats to join me in leaving the Democratic Party. If you can no longer stomach the direction that the so-called woke Democratic Party ideologues are taking our country, then I invite you to join me.
I would never do that.
I will say she's about a 9.
Okay.
Just saying.
Got that out of the way. Yeah.
If I was voting on good looks, boy, she had my vote. But
yeah, she is.
You know,
and she does. And what she's saying there is absolutely right. But
yeah, but it's late.
But what she's doing is trying to save her
political career.
Right, exactly. That's what.
And the thing of it is, she's 2 years too late. We knew this going in when Biden, when Biden was going in, we knew it was coming. They were telling us this was coming. AOC, Nancy Pelosi, all them saying,
you brought up her.
yeah, this is the direction we're going. This direction we're going is, she wasn't saying this shit then, was she? Now, her ass on the hotline, she wants to save her ass and get votes. And what she's doing is a typical move of, she thinks she's going to drag Democrat votes and get Republican votes because she made the switch. And she just spilled that shit out of her mouth. That, in my opinion, I don't give a shit how great looking she is. She could be a goddamn swimsuit model for Sports Illustrated and talk that shit, and I won't believe a thing.
She might be identifying as a Republican.
Yeah, exactly right, Greg. That's exactly right. She should have done it 2 years ago, before the election with Biden. She should have done it.
I don't know the answer to this, and if Deb was on, I think she might know the answer to this. But when you switch in the middle like that, is your vote as a Democrat or a Republican?
Her vote, I don't know. I don't have the answer, but what I assume
right now, did the House?
What I would assume,
or whatever she.
So
is.
her term's up. It would be considered a Democratic vote because that's what she was elected in as. I don't know. I don't know how that works. Yeah, she's going for. Listen, Todd. She's going for. She's trying to drag Democrats that like her and voted for her over. But what she knows is her political career is about finished because of the way, the Democrat left side, whatever you want to call it, progressive left, she knows that that's going to drag her down. And she knows that people are going in and voting red. They're voting red, right. But she's switching over and saying all this, spewing all this shit out of her mouth, just try to get that red vote too. Oh, we got one to defect. Let's vote for her. That's all it is. She's saving her political career. That's the only reason she's doing what she's doing, Doug.
You might see a few more of these.
Just save her play. I don't believe it, though. It's too late. She ain't fighting for shit, or she would have made a stand. You know what? When they put Trump up for impeachment back then, she should have voted against impeaching him if she wanted to show us that. If she wanted to show us what was right, she had her chance a couple years ago to vote against the impeachment of Trump. Now, all of a sudden, instead, I don't want to vote. I'm running for president. I don't want to vote and hurt myself.
Right. That's exactly what that was. If she would have
went
what
this shows me? It's indecisiveness. And it ain't just because she's switching now. If she would have never pulled that shit and had a vote back then, it might be different in my eyes.
And that's what I said in the email. I go, so you want to be the president of the United States and you can't make a decision here? I wouldn't care which way you went. At least you made a decision. And everybody else did but her.
No, it's...
You brought up.
I'm not buying into the vote, huh?
You brought up AOC.
Yeah, you gonna play it?
Yeah, I am. I got it here. This was a meeting. What's her name? Andrea
Cortez.
What's the O stand for?
Huh?
Oscar.
I don't know. Oscar Mayer.
Andrea.
Mr. Ed. We'll just call her Mr. Ed for short.
Well,
this
is kind of the same thing that Tulsi Gabbard's doing, but she didn't do it in public. But this is what she's going to end up with. This is horrible.
Turn your volume down.
yeah, and you might have to read what's being said because they get so loud in here. All right, here we go.
Congresswoman, none of this matters unless there's a nuclear war, which you voted to send arms and weapons to Ukraine. Tulsi Gabbard, she's left the Democratic Party because they're a bunch of war hawks, okay? You originally voted, you ran as an outsider, yet you've been voting to start this war in Ukraine. You're voting to start a thermonuclear war with Russia and China. Why are you playing with the lives of American citizens? You're playing with our lives.
There will be no neighbors if there's a nuclear bomb. You voted to mobilize and send money to Ukrainian Nazis. You're a coward. You're a progressive socialist. Where are you against the war mobilization? He's telling the right truth. You have done nothing. Tulsi Gabbard has shown guts where you've shown cowardice. I believed in you, and you became the very thing you sought to fight against. That's what you've become. You are the establishment, and you are the reason why everybody will end up in a nuclear war unless you choose to stand up right now and denounce the Democratic Party. Will you do that? Yes or no? Okay, simple. Are you going to stop nuclear war? Yes or no? There is no line, because this is bullshit. None of this matters if we're all dead. None of it. You know that. Then let's take it up right now, because this is the only thing that matters. This is the only thing that matters right now. We could be in a nuclear war at any minute, and you continue to fund it. That's what's going on. Why not right now? You're the liar here. Nobody has held you accountable. That's what's happening. And it is time for you to stand up and realize that what you've been saying has been lies. Let your conscience come through for once.
Wow.
Let me point two things out.
Yep.
The two things that I saw. Okay. She had all the black vote because she lied to him. That's a black guy standing out against her. Did you see who else was helping her with that meeting? A woman come over there and tried to grab him to get him away.
Yeah.
It's a Muslim. You know? Yeah, you're right. There's only 45 people there.
And I wish that we could have heard what she said too, but I don't think anybody can make out what she was saying.
You're never going to hear it. Even if they had it recorded, you'll never hear it. They don't ever be played.
Something about a line.
It's a typical response. You're being rude.
At the very beginning of the video, there was a woman that come down and was going to do, but yes, at the end it was a guy.
But they're right. We're on the verge of nuclear war.
Yes, we are. Even Trump or Biden said it.
It's the closest nuclear Armageddon we've ever been.
Yep.
More than one Cuban Missile Crisis.
Yeah. Yep.
And you know, me and you got into discussions earlier this week, or this week sometime, and you know, it was about the Bilderberg Group and so on and so on, and we touched on something. I think you brought it up, and I said this exact same thing Putin was against. Was, you know, this one government, the Bilderberg, Putin's against it. Now, how he went about it's wrong. You know, he started bombing civilians, shit like that. Well, how he went about it's wrong, but you know, the thing of it is, when you go in and vote, listen, you're not dividing a vote. When you go in and vote in November, you can vote for whoever the fuck you want.
Right. Yeah. You're absolutely right.
So you're not dividing a vote. You get a ballot. It's got Democrat versus Republican, independents, and everything on there. So, you know, I know it needs to be full of whiskey. So in November, you don't divide a vote by going independent. You know, the only time that might affect you is in the primaries in May. You know, I mean, you know, that might affect it then, but you don't divide. Like when Trump and all them will run against each other for the nomination, you know what I'm saying? Different. You go through all that, like DeWine and Blystone and whoever, and you hit it right, Marty. Boy, if you listen to the Tim Ryan commercials, you'd think he's straight out conservative. They're playing that up big time right now. Big time. You know, and you know, he's against China, he's against this, he's against that. And my opinion is he's no fucking good. That's just my opinion. But whatever. Vote who you want. Listen, vote. Come November, you vote for who you want, who you think's right. The only thing I ask to think about is what I've asked Doug for 2 years since we've done this show. Not every politician's going to do what you like. Period. Not every decision. Swearingen's pissed us off. Not every decision that a politician makes, you're going to agree with. Trust me. It ain't going to happen. But if you feel that politician will make decisions based on what's best and what he thinks is best for us, for we the people, that's the guy you need to vote for. If you think a politician is not always going to make that right decision, might be swayed by money or by, you know, people can't, you know, contributing, big corporations, this, that, or the other, don't vote for him. Because if you think that, I guarantee you it's happening. And you don't get all the way to DC by being honest, Doug. You know, I mean, you get bought out. You know, you do some crooked shit.
Well, I hope everybody got a chance to at least browse through that. And I mean, it is long. The Bilderberg Group stuff. It was long, but it's telling, and in there it almost tells you why they're going after Trump. Because if you look back on the politicians, everybody has some association with that group, and all the way back to, and I was surprised, Reagan, and he was the one that was going to go after Canada and consume them.
You got that flight? No. Just because you say you're independent, don't mean you can only vote for independent. It's not a waste of time. You don't vote independent. You're an independent person who vote who you think best for it, whether it's a Republican or a Democrat. You know, you register independent on this election in November. You vote for who you want. Doesn't matter. You just register. You can be Democrat, Lori, and go in there and vote Republican ticket. It doesn't matter in November. It's only in the early elections. Go ahead, Doug.
Okay. Yeah, I'll upload. Oh, I have it right here. Let me bring it up. What our flag could have been.
Yeah.
Our flag could have been. Yes.
Well, what they did, Greg, is I didn't catch it, and I guess they've been doing it for. Look at that. That's what our flag could have been.
Yep. That's what they designed back in 1980. And I don't know what the green stands for. I know Canada, U.S. I don't know what the green is.
I don't know.
Let's see. Okay. All right. So now we'll try.
That might have been Todd. That might have been. It might have been Mexico.
You're right. You're right. Yeah, because they wanted to call it the North American Union.
Yeah, you're right.
we might not have a choice.
No, but that was, we're talking 50 years ago.
Yeah.
You know, we're talking 50 years ago. When, right? 50, isn't it?
Pretty much.
Or 40. 40 years ago. I'm sorry. 40 years, 42 years ago. Where they wanted Canada, United States, and Mexico. And then, who knows? We'd have been speaking French, English, and Mexican, and Spanish. Because you guys forget, a lot of the people in Canada, there's areas that, what region is that you said, Doug, that
I
speak
think
French?
Quebec is
Quebec area?
the French. They're the ones who voted that all down, and that's why it didn't happen. They didn't know there'd be an uprising.
And there would have been an uprising in the States, too. You know.
So maybe one more Democrat, idiot. So Virginia Democratic lawmaker wants parents to face criminal charges if they refuse to affirm a child's sexual orientation or gender identity. Here's what's going to happen. They've got the bill on the floor. They want to get it passed. And what it's saying is if your kid comes home and says, you know, I want to be a cat, and you don't allow that to happen, and they go back to school and go, well, I wanted to be a cat, but my parents won't let me, you would be charged.
With what crime?
And the Guzman's bill would include refusal to accept gender and sexual identity in the definition of child abuse.
Child abuse?
Yeah, you're not allowing that.
Well, let me ask a fucking question.
Okay.
If my kid comes home and says, I want to identify as a cat, and there's the fucking litter box, and put the meow mix in a bowl with a bowl of water next to it, and once in a while open a can of Friskies. Here's some soft food today. That's child abuse. They want to take complete control away from parents. It's simple. Simple.
Todd, from what I read, there were some schools that people said they did that. They put litter boxes in, which was not true. But there was a school that actually did send out a letter stating that they didn't have litter
Are
boxes.
you kidding? Look at what Tommy just put up.
Yes, I seen that too. Yeah, he was really pretty.
Oh, Tom, I could make a comment about my. I just let it go though.
So
Yeah, that's what it is, Greg. It is basically, as a parent, the only thing you're going to be able to do is go make a living, bring the money home, and your kid's going to tell you how to spend it, tell him what he wants to do. And then, in a couple of years when all this shit goes through, you're going to have government saying, we can't control these kids. What the fuck's going on? Well, they're yours now. Fuck it. You got a teacher out in Oklahoma. I don't know if you're watching, Greg. You got a teacher out in Oklahoma that's saying, if parents don't go along with this, fuck them. They, tell them, fuck them. They ain't your parents. I'm your parent. How do we allow this?
that was last week. We had that.
Right. How do we allow this?
Played the whole video.
Now we got the Census Bureau switching, taking numbers away from some states, adding numbers to other states so they get seats and delegates get taken out of this state and going to get thrown over there so they can get more control of Senate and Congress. And we're just sitting there going,
You're getting immune to it. Okay, so listen here, and this is what really, really, really puts a knife in the back. This is the reasoning behind this. The Bible says to accept everyone for who they are. So that's what I tell them when they ask me that question. And that's what I will continue to tell them. So what she's saying is, if your child identifies as a cat, then the Bible says accept everyone for who they are.
It's interpretation.
is very much interpretation. Now,
It's what we do in everything. Instead of reading what's black and white, we read it now. And I go through this during the summer every Saturday. Instead, we read it now and we say, well, the meaning of this could be this, or it could be that, or it could be that. Well, if I have to spell every fucking thing out for you, I'm going to have 1,000 books sitting here 4 foot high.
yeah,
Per book. I mean, to accept everyone for what they are, not getting into the race game and that, but that's creed, color, where they're from, whatever. Not because I want to identify as a fucking cat.
now she does say that the proposed law might infringe on parents' religious freedom, but the Bible does say everyone should be accepted. Now, they don't know if this is going to be a felony or a misdemeanor. Can you imagine?
Yeah, Ronnie's got a good point. What happened to separation of church and state? Now they're quoting the fucking Bible. You're right, Ronnie. Now they're quoting the Bible. And this is what I got pissed about at Biden. And I went off about it down in Texas. Remember the school shooting? And he went there and, all we heard, God, let's God pray for these people. God pray, this, that. And remember that week we come out and I says, wait a minute. This is the same guy that doesn't want that around. His
Right.
same group.
Right.
And you're right, Ronnie. That's a good point. Very good point. They only want to use it when it's convenient for them. That's what it is. If it's something that can benefit them, they'll yank it right out of the Bible. You notice that, Doug? Yank that quote right out of the Bible. But boy, if you say something, we got to separate that. You can't have that. You can't have religion in the schools, public schools. You can't do this and that. But we can allow satanic worship to use one of our rooms after school program.
They do have a group for that, yes.
What a crackers, dude! I tell you what, this country's fucked. Fucked. What are we gonna, 20 in 10, 15 years from now, we're gonna be in the same situation with an Iraq or something. What are they gonna? Here comes the military C-130. There's gonna be a bunch of fucking furries coming off the plane. Meow. Hope you got a lot of water out here. Hey, we got plenty of litter box out here. It's all sand.
Todd, we talked about this a lot over the last several months. And if you want to change your driver's license, go right ahead. Now, I just want to say, that I talked to a deputy the other night and I brought up this whole thing about changing your driver's license to female and all that kind of stuff, male or female, whatever way you want to go. And I said, so what happens when you get called to a place where there's a man identifying as a woman, has a driver's license, says he's a woman in a woman's bathroom? He said the most we could possibly do would be trespassing. You're just in an area that you shouldn't.
And here's how that'll work. The owner will say, I don't want that guy. I don't care if it's transgender in the female bathroom. Well, you got to serve him a trespass warrant. He can't come back on the property. And then you're going to have the LGBTQXYZ elemental P bunch protesting your business.
Get it right.
I don't give a fuck what it is anymore.
LGBTQ2SIA+.
They're going to be protesting your business. It comes down to that. Greg, that might buy you some 3 days there. But I can't remember. But who that buy? I bought somebody put a comment on a podcast. But they protest your business. You in this woke world today, you don't. I mean, you can make a decision. Private business can decide. As a private business owner, you can decide who you want to serve and not serve.
Right.
You don't. You do not have to serve people. You know. But in today's world, it's not that way anymore. Yeah. What you see? What's that? Puss in Boots cat? Antonio Banderas voice is over.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what you're gonna see getting off our planes to go to war now.
So, bunch of furries.
We're here. Meow.
Well, hold on, I'm in heat.
Yeah, the enemy's gonna say, "Fuck this! All we need some catnip." Don't waste the grenades. Just throw some catnip over in the
Yeah,
hole.
we don't want to hurt him, or we'll have PETA here.
You know, here's what I suggest. Well, see, that's the thing. That you're right, Marty. So I got a transgender. You know, who strip searches them? Who pats them down?
That is a problem that is actually happening today. They don't know where to put them.
You know. Geez, ma'am, you got a pretty good package here. I'm kind of jealous. You know,
Thank you.
thank you. Can I have your number for later? You know, I mean, really.
Let's take a minute.
You know, and we all thought MASH, when Klinger dressed up as a woman, thought it was a joke. Oh no! After all this time, it'd actually be a reality.
Is it? Yeah, for real.
You know, for all you that watch MASH, you know, now we're dating time here. I don't know if Dean Henry watching. He says, "Yeah, I ain't fucking commenting." Are you crazy?
I don't know. I was just gonna say let's give away some
Hashtag no bowls show. You got to show his product. So
All right, here we go. Let's back up here. All right. What are you looking at?
I'm looking at Ronnie's comment. Go ahead.
I'm looking at this.
Yeah, look at that fish.
Okay, back. Okay. All of this can be yours at Big D's Pizza in
He's Pizza, Clyde, Ohio.
Clyde, Ohio.
Doug Sank got his ribs.
Ribs, and then we're going. BLT, right?
BLT.
Good.
There's
Burgers.
all his products are good over there. Big D's Pizza in Clyde, Ohio. I want to thank Dean Henry.
Yes.
Dean's at his house. Quit mentioning my name.
you guys are stirring up all this crap. And then you want to
Some
throw me in.
fucking cats.
In the middle of it.
Some 6'4" cat's gonna show up at my fucking door. Why isn't there meow mix on your menu?
On your menu, yeah. What about us? We can't come in now?
What about us?
All right, let's
Get rid of the rats outside in fucking Clyde, Ohio. It's that time of year mice are coming. Let me catch mice. Every mice you bring me, I'll bring you some meow mix. Bastards. Unbelievable. How many people we got in?
Let me check.
Just remember, all this shit we're putting up about schools for last year, coming to a town near you. It's coming.
Yes, we have.
It just, huh?
We have 4 people in. Come on, guys.
Hashtag no bull show.
Show some love. It is, and that's why I keep bringing a lot of this up, is because it's starting. It's in Norwalk.
It's here. I mean,
We've had some Ohio schools that we actually
we've had some. doozies in Ohio schools. The Fredericktown one was the doozy of one
That's the one with the computers.
with the survey
Yeah, with survey.
about sexual possessions and
Yeah,
everything you could
That's what
possibly think of.
that's what they're asking your kids in school.
Yeah, and then and all the way down to what, third grade. They're
Yeah,
teaching them transgender and lesbian, gay community, and you know, the books that are in the libraries are very inappropriate. And then they your kid comes home with a laptop assigned to him from a school. You know, how many do we think, Greg? Let me go into that in a second. The kids, because the kids got a laptop assigned to them from the school. Okay. And I've been through this many times. Every laptop that has an IP number. Because they say little Johnny has, you know, give him a laptop, boom, that IP, huh?
there's a MAC address, and then the
Yeah.
IP matches to the MAC address.
Right. So, okay, we're taking an anonymous survey today on our computers. And that kid writes something anonymous in there that they don't like. They can match that IP to that MAC, and boom, next thing you know, it's not anonymous. There's nothing anonymous. Yeah, next thing, Children's Services knocking at your door. Because little Johnny said he drank vodka 4 times in the last 2 months. You know, never mind. You go to the inner cities or downtown Sandusky, for example, and see kids 4 or 5 years old. I bet you if you went down there right now, you'd see them 4 or 5 years old running around. Never mind, we got atrocities, and I won't go into this because I'm not going to front a landowner out, property owner out. Atrocities going on in these apartments where these kids are living in pure hell. You know, marijuana, all kinds of, you know, hooking, everything else going on. Who knows what that kid sees? And no, Children's Service won't come out and do a goddamn thing on that. But boy, let your kid on an anonymous survey say he drank vodka 4 times in the last 2 months, they'll be knocking at your door. They'll be knocking at your door. Or say, you know, you're 8 years old. You don't even know what gay is right now. And they go back to the Children's Service going to come down there and want to know why you're, and that's happened in other states, California.
If this lady gets her way, it'll be
a felony or a misdemeanor. You get
Right.
charged.
Yep.
So I mean that's just something that you yeah, we are, and we said that more ways than one, Tammy. We said when the United States School Board wrote that letter in, and the Attorney General sent it over, and the FBI acted, and you couldn't go to a school board meeting, a local school board meeting, and raise hell because you were protesting over a mask or the jab, or you were raising concerns that you could be considered domestic terrorist. We said then that's going to implode, and it's going to go into other things. It's just a Pandora's box opening up. And then for him to come out, the president of the United States with blood red backdrop, pretty much classify us. What do you classify? Not as terrorists, but extremists. Classify us because we voted for Trump. MAGA supporters are extremists. Handwrite right there. Handwritten on the wall. The real backdrop was the top. CNN lightened it up, and that's how they put it, just to soften it up.
Mhm.
So, I mean, it is what it is. All right, Big D's Pizza,
Yes.
Clyde, Ohio. Roll the dice, sir.
There we go. Bum, 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 bum.
Oh, God. We have to go to the Jeopardy show now and get permission. Tammy Spear.
Tammy, there you go. You're a winner.
Winner, winner. Pizza dinner.
I have information on that, Tammy. Let me get us back up here. On your CCW, I asked about that. That deputy, he didn't want to be around me anymore. So what happens is all the CCWs in the system right now in the state of Ohio show everybody shows active now. When it comes up, it'll say CCW. It'll just show active. It used to show if you had one or not. It said yes or no. Now it just shows active. So they don't know if you actually have one or you don't. It's just shows active because everybody can carry.
Yeah. Everybody can carry, and it's. I don't know. I carry.
We asked him about his hours.
Who?
Dean. I think they're
He's
closed.
not open Monday and Tuesday. Wednesday, they open at 3:00.
So take your kids out of school on Wednesday.
Yes.
It's from the C&D No More show. They told me to.
I've heard enough of that shit you guys are doing from the homeschooling.
Okay. Are we ready to move on?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So there is a issue on the ballot coming up for Ohio, and I just want to explain it. It's issue 1. And let me first play this part. I'm only going to play part of it just till he gets to explaining it, and then we'll talk about it.
An indecision 2022, early voting underway today in Ohio ahead of the general election next month. One item on the ballot, issue 1, could have a major impact there on the state.
The amendment would allow judges to consider public safety when determining bail amounts.
Yeah, News Channel 3's Marley Pinchuk breaks it all down for us.
State leaders say ever since Ohio became a state in the 1800s, judges have always been able to consider public safety when determining someone's bail amount. So, for example, looking at a person's criminal history, the seriousness of the crime the person is accused of committing, as well as the likelihood a person will show up in court if they are able to make bail. However, that all changed when the case DeBow versus McGuffey was brought to the state Supreme Court earlier this year. In that case, a man charged with murder argued his $1.5 million bail was too high. The Supreme Court ultimately agreed and ruled the bail should have been much lower, and also that judges should not consider public safety anymore when setting those bail amounts.
Okay, so on the ballot, the way it's written, this is what you have to know about it, is if you vote yes, it would reverse the Supreme Court ruling and allow judges to once again go back to considering public safety when setting the bail. If you vote no, it would keep the precedent as it is now. So right now, if you went out and murdered somebody,
And they'll have it fucking worded fucked up, so you think vote no is the right one.
right, it's vote yes on issue 1, and what it does is it allows them to use public safety in the bail amount. Right now,
Here, you got a guy. You got a guy that's got a rap sheet, 10 pages long, and on them 10, let's just say he's got 200 charges. He's 40 years old from the time he's been 18. 200 charges. And out of them 200, 150, 140 have been violent crimes, let's say. And then he pops somebody and gets nailed for murder.
right.
Okay, judges now say, you don't need to be on the street. Your bail's like this, 1.5 million. Knowing he ain't ever going to reach that. He's going to sit. Because of he's a risk in the street. He don't need to be on the street. Whereas then you got a guy that, let's say Doug, gets in an altercation, doesn't have a rep sheet. One thing comes to another, and they're going to fight it out for defense or whatever. But he gets charged with murder. They might set his bail at $200,000, you know, because he's not a flight risk. He's never been in trouble, you know, whatever. That's the public safety side of it. What they're fucking doing is saying, nope, bail needs to be set, no longer consider that, needs to be set at 400,000, don't matter who it is.
Yeah. So it's almost like if you leave it alone, it's almost like a restaurant. If you have robbery, it's set at this. Don't matter anything about it.
Who it is, don't matter how many times you did it.
But if you vote no, you have this person that committed robbery, and they look at his rap sheet and they say, "Geez, Louise," then they can raise that up.
Well, if you vote yes, they can raise it. If you vote no, they can't.
If you vote, let me go back over it again.
Yes, they can keep the public safety in mind. No, it's a set. Boom. Don't matter what your rap sheet is. But yes.
Correct. Yes.
Yeah. You want to vote if you don't care how many charges that guy had or whatever, and you feel
His
it should be
background.
one set bond, public safety shouldn't be involved or nothing, then vote no. If you feel like I do, everything should go into consideration, and this guy needs to be off the street, is a menace to society, vote yes, because the judge can up his bond to keep him off street and the safety of public safety.
So, yes vote will allow them to do whatever they need to do. No means that we'll have a restaurant, like a menu sheet.
Yeah, the biggest thing I can tell you people is this. There's no time limit on how long you got when you get that ballot to go sit down and vote. There's no time limit. They're not, your 10 minutes is up, get the fuck out. Read the issues. You got to read the issues. Because what these bastards will do, and I learned firsthand about 15 years ago, is they'll word it, Doug, they'll word it and twist it. And by the time you're done, they twist around and you say, well, yeah, I agree with that. And you hit yes. And you're voting the total opposite. When you say yes, it isn't what you want. You needed to vote no.
Right.
So if you don't understand the issue, read it 3-4 times. And don't let your mind play a mind game on you. Or like Lori says, read it. There's no time limit on voting. You can sit in there for an hour. If you don't understand it, read it again. Because they word that shit. You got to remember who's writing these issues up. And that's lawyers. Lawyers and stuff.
And of course, they're connected, and they want to make it so that, it goes one way or another. Same with the media.
It was the same way when the not smoking in bars and that come up, Doug.
Yes. Yep.
They worded that so the wording on that vote was you voted yes, thinking, we still allow smoking in bars. And when you voted yes, you were voting no more smoking, it's done.
Right.
And there's a lot of people, including myself, that got trick bagged on the wording on that.
When was the last you heard of Black Lives Matter? We talked about this last week, right?
They're don't hear nothing. Their lives are good. The woman that's the head of it's real good. She's got like 5-6 houses.
Okay, now Candace.
When's the last time you seen Black Lives Matter in the hood doing anything for anybody there?
We're gonna find out.
Okay, that's fine.
Candace Owens, and she is a black lady, right?
Yes, she is. Nice
And
looking black lady.
she did her own research and undercover stuff. So here's just her promo for it. I don't know if it's out or yet, but here's her promo for it. This is all about Black Lives Matter, so you're well informed now.
Black Lives Matter released their 990 IRS filing. They collected $80 million. Where is that money?
It's not here. Everything looks worse than it was.
where have you seen that money impacted throughout the city? So my producer just sent me a link. It is just shocking to me because of how much money was raised to think that where he lived, the bills weren't being covered. Super frustrating, but that's a dead end, so. And here's where it gets really interesting. Ready for some BLM pride? Another $200K went to escorts, BDSM workers, strippers, peep show workers, phone sex operators, and webcam performers. And then at that moment, it became personal. And I thought, not only am I going to say the truth, I am going to scream the truth louder than you can scream the lies. It's incredible that the majority of the world hasn't seen this.
So it just came out. That's your buddy, Candace.
That's who. Listen, he tells it how it is.
Exposing the truth. Yes.
Yes.
Exposing.
I mean, we've listen. We'll get in, and I'm sure Facebook will cut us off again because we're touching some areas they don't want touched. You know, they hate Candace Owens. They hate her. Facebook hates her, and the thing of it is we've been saying that for a while. You know, since the riots, the Antifa, George Floyd. You know, it was his birthday the other day. Did you see that? Everybody all happy birthday in heaven.
Yes.
You know, it's tragic anybody dies, but where's anybody saying anything about Rios?
I was going to ask you if you were going to bring that up.
Where's anybody saying anything about that? But, you know, we've been saying it since these riots. You know, Black Lives Matter has been getting ungodly amount. That's just 1 year, Doug. 80 million in 1 year. In 1 year. And this has been going on for going on 3 years now. So you're looking at $250,000 if you add that up. Where, if they went into a neighborhood, a black neighborhood that was vandalized, tore up through these riots or protests, I'm sorry, Doug, because it'd be misinformation. Protests. Where have they gone in there and injected any of this money into these neighborhoods? Where have they gone into the poverty-stricken black neighborhoods in Cleveland, Los Angeles, any major city? For Ohio, for example, Columbus, Cleveland, Toledo, Dayton, Cincinnati. Where have they went in anywhere there? I know Sandusky hasn't seen them inject any money in. Where's Antifa? They're in their mansions. You know? And yeah, it's a Trump train. And you know, we've been asking this, Doug. We asked it for a while, and then we just shut up on it and moved on. Now you're gonna find out. Don't you got a clip of her flipping out?
Who?
Candace Owens, on from the woman that is the head of Black Lives Matter.
No, I don't have that.
Oh, all right. I thought somebody had a clip of that.
I do not have that.
But let me tell you something. If you want to see honesty, was poverty stricken at one point in her life, you know, when she grew up, and you want to hear complete honesty, watch all this shit that she's coming out with.
Yeah.
I'm telling you what, I guarantee you, and the government will do nothing about it. I guarantee you she's going to have full security around her here for a while because I know they'll put a hit on her.
I'm going to see if I can find that, and then I'll put a link up to it.
Yeah.
But you remember
DeSantis and Owens, 24.
Yeah, there you go. Yep. Better than what we got now.
Yeah.
You remember the teacher that we had last week? The
fuck your parents, I'm your parent.
Yes, that guy.
Yes, sir.
Okay, same school, This is the principal. This is after Project Veritas came out and released that. She has a meeting with all the teachers, and she's telling them really what to say and what not to say. They take out their phones and they start videotaping her, and she's like, "Oh, come on, guys, put your phones away. I don't want to feel like I'm on Project Veritas." So here's what the principal said. Hopefully you guys remember the whole deal with this guy, because this is exactly what it's about. Ready?
Yep.
Here we go.
There is no secret, and please take your phones up. Don't videotape me, please. Don't like put this on social media. Don't make me feel like Project Veritas is with us. There is no secret curriculum at Rogers. There is nobody that's got woke politics here.
We've obtained a recording of the principal of Will Rogers High School in Oklahoma begging, pleading for Project Veritas not to record her.
Rogers is getting hammered. People are getting hammered. I even had a former teacher post something really unkind on Facebook. We just have to be careful right now. Everybody's got their phones out. I'm talking about people like the kid in your class, Kid in your class, you're not paying attention and something happens and they videotape it and it makes you look like you're bad.
Principal Nicolette Dennis of Will Rogers High School was distraught about the recordings of her teacher, Tyler Wren, who said,
"Trust me, I want to burn down the entire system. The only thing that's a problem here is that House Bill 1775 or something, I can get my license revoked for being too woke. Eventually, you want to remove Christianity from or religion from progressive thought because religion is inherently hierarchical."
On Tuesday, the Secretary of Education in Oklahoma called for Tyler's teaching license to be revoked after the Project Veritas report.
"We have many great teachers in Oklahoma. Tyler Wren is not one of them, and trying to undermine our entire education system, that is not going to be accepted here in the state of Oklahoma. Again, he is masquerading as a teacher when in reality he's a liberal activist trying to indoctrinate our kids. I am asking the State Board of Education to revoke his teaching certificate. He has violated the law and said openly that he wants to indoctrinate our kids rather than provide them the academic background that they need to be successful in life."
The principal's plea to not be recorded by Project Veritas was captured in a staff meeting Tuesday.
So we had a person come to our school who's with a group called Project Veritas. And their goal is to put people in situations and befriend them and have them share things that they probably shouldn't share to strangers. Rogers is getting hammered. People are getting hammered. The last man that called me was from Sebring, Florida. I pretended like I was the secretary. Is that bad? And then when I realized it was from Florida, I almost said, "Aren't you underwater right now?"
It was captured by someone familiar with the matter and was subsequently sent to Project Veritas.
This is not about us. This is not about our school. And we have to stand behind each other, even if we don't agree. Even if we don't agree with each other. Even if we politically are in different worlds, it's okay. But there is no secret curriculum at Rogers. There is nobody that's got woke politics here.
Now, Principal Dennis neglected to address the secret curriculum available for students on teacher Tyler Wren's Linktree, which was in his bio on his TikTok page.
We're all going to get eaten up by radicals. I'm just telling you, we're all getting eaten up by radicals. And I do not believe from one minute that there is a radical agenda in anybody's class in this school.
Project Veritas stands by our reporting, and we encourage other sources to come forward the same way this brave source inside Will Rogers High School did. Be brave, do something.
It's just the world we live in right now, and part of it is the adults have lost their minds.
Adults have lost their minds.
Yep.
So basically, shut your mouth and don't talk to nobody no more, and we'll keep going what we're doing.
Yep. Pretty much. Now, in Ohio, the Ohio Teachers Union, remember, that I don't know who came up with it, but they said veterans, we welcome them to come teach. We need teachers. Without a teaching credential, if you're a veteran, you can teach.
Yep.
Ohio Teachers Union says no, we're not going to allow that. It will reduce the quality of education.
But yeah, we're giving them answers.
Yes.
We're putting out a bunch of dum-dums because we're giving them answers to raise the ratings.
Correct.
That you've put up here several times, where you go get the ratings of each school.
Yep. Yep.
And we've reported now, I sound like I'm a professional. We've put up here and talked about how teachers are going through when they take these tests for the state. No, change that to that, change that to that. And
right.
Basically cheating for the kids to get their rating up in the state of Ohio.
Right.
But we don't want a veteran to come in because that might be too honest.
It would be like putting Trump in the schools.
Yeah.
Same thing that happened to Trump. He's an outsider. He's going to expose things, and so would a veteran. Why aren't we
and they don't want it.
Allegiance?
Yeah, they don't want it.
Changing the words to it.
Why is these kids sitting down?
Yeah.
You know, why are you giving them the answer?
Because I would have a problem with that.
Why is little Johnny disrupting this whole class and you ain't done nothing to him?
Right.
You know, we're not going to do that. We're not going to let outsiders in. There's too much. But if we don't do something, we're screwed.
Right.
So here's the thing. Fuck teachers union. Fuck the school boards and everybody else. Put it on the ballot. Does the Ohio people of Ohio, citizens of Ohio, agree that veterans should be allowed to teach? You know?
I agree.
Without us, teachers union president don't get paid either because it's taxpayer money that pays him through the union dues that teachers pay.
You know, going to Joe's comment, if I was teaching in schools and they were sitting down, they'd have a hard lesson to learn. I would be telling them about the flag. I would be telling them why I would stand up for the flag. And teachers in school today, a lot of them.
I don't even think half of them know what you ask them about the flag, they wouldn't know the meaning of it. And let me back up, because I do know some teachers. All right, we go after the teachers like this and that. We're not going after all of them,
right?
Because there is good teachers out there,
yes.
But there's a lot of teachers don't give a shit and got their own agendas, and that's what they'll teach. And if they get their minds at that age, that's what they're going to come up with and go. And we're doing nothing about it. So.
But, a lot of them really haven't went to war, fought for it, served to really understand it. Remember, I said it 1,000 times, you never really understand what it's like in a different country until you're there. And remember when the whole thing came up about, what was it, for COVID, shelter in place and all that kind of stuff. And everybody's
We're
like,
talking about nuclear war.
Yeah, government can't tell me that I have to do this and that. And remember I said, you don't understand. That's what it's like in other countries. And then we brought up the girl at
Diana's.
She was not going to speak about our president or hers.
Or here's an example. The lockdowns, and you were out, in your driveway, waving to your neighbors, talking to everybody, and we're all supposed to be on lockdown, shelter in place. And anybody ever see the videos in China when they told you shelter in place, get in your house? You ever see what happened to them people that weren't? They got whipped with sticks, man. Them canes.
Yeah.
They got the shit beat out of them.
You know, and like kids today don't understand. Like we can say Bide's a freaking idiot and nothing happens. You go over there and say something like that, you're going to jail. And she said that. Remember, she said, "I'll go to jail if I say something like that."
Yeah. You know, y'all gonna wake up tomorrow and eat breakfast or lunch. If you don't eat breakfast, you're gonna eat. Well, thank a plane, thank a pilot, thank captain of ship, thank the engineer on a railroad, and thank a trucker, especially a trucker, for that food that you're gonna eat sometime tomorrow. If you want to really thank somebody for that food you're going to eat, thank a farmer. And if you really want to get down to it, the only reason you're eating that food and you went to a grocery store and picked it out in choice and drove there, drove back, and maybe stopped at so-and-so's and everything, thank a veteran or thank a military personnel now that's protecting them freedoms. I mean, and that's the light of it, Doug, if you get right down to it.
Yeah.
Because let me tell you this, in other countries, you ain't doing it like that. You're not, under
We
lockdown.
could not have this show. This show would never exist.
Oh, we'd had it maybe once, twice maybe, and you'd never seen us. In China, Russia, you'd never seen us. We'd be alive, but we'd be in a cell somewhere rotten.
Right.
I mean, we'd be rotten. They'd throw us in a cell. That'd be the end of us. Argentina. You want to know what you think we're tough? You really love your freedom? Look up the I think it's Argentina. Look up the what the penalty is for DUI. It's a death penalty. I think it's Argentina. If you get caught drunk driving, penalty of death.
Jeepers.
Yeah. So, I mean, you shouldn't drive drunk, but it is what it is. I mean, thank a veteran. It's that time of year. It's getting cold at night. We talked about it at the beginning of the show. Who turned their heat on? Who's got their furnace running? Right. We got a lot of people that was over in that sand right now. We got a lot of people that was in Vietnam still running around. They ain't got a place to walk into tonight, and the debate is, do we turn the heat on tonight or no? Wait till next week and ride it out. They're sleeping on a park bench, Doug. Or they're sleeping under a bridge. Who knows what they got to keep them warm? Who knows when their last hot meal was? And here's the way I look at it. This pisses me off. When I know there's a veteran sitting outside of, a gas station or whatever, homeless, and you hand him $20, get yourself something, at least something hot to eat. Well, he might go buy beer with that. What do I give a fuck what he buys with it, Doug? What do I care? If he gets something hot and he buys a six-pack or whatever, what do I care?
Right.
I mean,
he's alive.
He's alive, and if that's what he wants to do, then let him do it. What do you want? Listen, we have no problem pulling up in McDonald's. And tell me I'm wrong on this, people, because I just stopped the other night and bought 2 Happy Meals for the Jen's kids. She was sick, and I 2 Happy Meals. The 6-piece nugget Happy Meal, all right? And they had apples and French fries in it. And a small Sprite and chocolate milk. I was on the phone with you, wasn't it? No, I wasn't. $18 fucking dollars. Paid them on my way. But yet, you're going to sit there and say, I don't have $10 to give that veteran. Is he walking in a gas station like me and buying a pack of cigarettes for $8, $7-8? You know what? Go out and hand him a pack of cigarettes. No, we have no empathy anymore, Doug.
Right.
And we're wrapped up in our own little fucking worlds. And there's shit going on around us in the United States that I never thought I'd see in my lifetime is going on in the schools now and everywhere else. And we just sit there and, oh, it's not going to affect us here in Perkins Township, Ohio. It's fucking here. It's in Norwalk. You've seen 2 people say it's in Norwalk. Yeah. No, I'm not kidding you. Yeah, I got I didn't know they had fucking adults, or whatever Happy Meals, Greg. So I had the 6 nuggets, or it was like $18 fucking 17 something. But I paid it, and when I'm away, for a minute I said, "Are you kidding me?" And then when I'm away, but the thing of it is my point is we have no problem pulling into these places, whipping out 20, whatever. You know what I'm saying, Doug? And we don't bitch. We might bitch, Jesus Christ, price is going up, and we pay it. That guy, think about a veteran where last couple of years ago, he could get something nice, hot to eat and drink or whatever for $10. Well, the price went up on him. He ain't got shit. But yet you didn't care when he was over in the sand. Curtis Phillips come on this show, what, Doug, a year ago?
About a year ago, yep.
A war veteran of the Iraqi War, Purple Heart recipient. Come on this show. And he was on for, Doug, 45 minutes. He had to be on 45 minutes and told us what it was like. He was in the Devil's Triangle and all that area. Told us what it was like. They go on 30 days at a time. Had to sleep on rooftops. Everything else. Told us what it was like. Well, you didn't mind when they were doing that, did you? You didn't mind when they were doing that, making peanuts. They weren't making no money every month. What? $1,500, Doug?
Yeah, I don't know what it is now.
You didn't mind that people went away from their families. You didn't mind. But now all of a sudden, you see a guy sitting there, now you mind all of a sudden, huh? That same guy fought for your freedom. Well, you're right. And it's getting there. It's getting there to where it's outrageous. My whole point is you still pay it and move on. Maybe you're getting banged 3 days there, Tammy. Huh?
They're trying to get it all set up for
Yeah,
you.
you're trying to delete something you put up there you shouldn't have. What else you got, Doug? We done?
That's it. Yep. The only other thing is they're going to take Christopher Columbus out of the parks in Pennsylvania, Pittsburgh.
Why wouldn't they?
Just more of our
Why
history.
wouldn't they? The woke shits hit the Norwalk schools, Ronnie. Meow. They'll be putting litter boxes up before you know it.
Just before we end, Deb, I don't know if you were on earlier or not, but what we would like to know, and we know you could probably figure this out, if somebody, a representative changes their party while they're serving, does that automatically move them over to the new party when they vote, or no?
Or does that vote stay? Like if a Democrat declares they're going to Republican side in the middle of their term or whatever, does that vote still stay Democratic till the next election?
What's Nope to?
Yeah, nope.
I'm not answering.
Nope, I'm not answering that. You assholes are on your own.
You drag me into all these confrontational things.
But that's what we'd like to know. And what's her name? I can't. It's switching over.
It does not move their vote. Wow.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Didn't I say? I'm pretty sure that it has to go to the next election. like she's switching over, but that doesn't mean
Tulsi Gabbard is who we're talking.
She's still sitting on a seat. If she switches over right now to Republican, her vote still goes on the Democrat side until the election, until her next term. Her term's up, whether she goes back in or not.
So you'll really be able to see if what she said is true, because she should be voting against some of these things that are.
She should be a Democrat vote that goes to the other side.
Right. Yep.
And we'll see if she's a lying bitch like I think she is. She's a good-looking lying bitch. Ooh. You missed that one, Ronnie. I give her a 9.
I don't think I have her picture either. No, I'll put her up for just a second.
I can no longer remain in today's Democratic Party that's under the complete control of an elitist cabal of warmongers.
Yep. There you go. She's switching parties. All right, people. Probably stirred the pot enough tonight.
Oh my God.
Remember, issue 1.
Yes.
Issue 1.
Do you remember the yes and no?
You got to vote yes if you want the power back to the judges on public safety. If you vote no, then it's straight across the board. And we'll bring it up going right up to election.
Yep.
Because that's a very important issue. So, all right, people. We got Doug? Nothing?
I have nothing.
All right. Thanks for watching, everybody. And your answer, Greg Miller? We got a lot more people watching. They don't put it up. I have people all the time. Hey, I watched you Sunday night. We didn't see you on there. We didn't see this or we didn't see that. And you have people that watch. For some reason, they've never put the true numbers up. If you see 21 up, we got about probably 50, to be honest with you. Yeah. And they never put the true numbers up. They never, in the beginning, they did probably for about a month, if that. And then it's been, because I know I've talked to people that I'd have never thought was watching a show or anything, and I've talked to them about something business related or whatever. Yeah, I was watching you Sunday night. And what do you mean you were watching? And I called Doug right away. Hey, so I didn't see, and same with YouTube. We don't know if we're back up on YouTube or not. I don't think we are. We've got no word back from them. But if you see numbers spike out at 22, 25, we're probably at 50, 60. And that's a true number. And we're not trying to, because honestly, we don't care. I mean, we really don't. We didn't do this show to try to draw 1,000 people watching. It'd be nice, but we didn't do the show to do that. We knew we'd get just a small group. And we were happy with 20, 30 people. And we believed that number until me and Doug both started other people talking and this, that, and the other. And the numbers are way higher than what they show.
After one show we went through comments, figured out how many people were there, and plus the people that, we've talked to and said they watch, and numbers are not even close.
And the reason why they do that is because there's people that watch them numbers. Like Greg, you said, well, you topped out it, and they don't want us to get a sponsor. They don't want people to sponsor the show. They don't want traction, and people aren't going to sponsor a show with number 15, 20, stuff like that. And we're not asking anybody. Don't get me wrong. We're not asking anybody to come out and sponsor. I mean, as radical as we can get sometimes with my mouth. And let's look at it. We got kicked off tonight. Beginning, not the very beginning. We get kicked off every week. We got in the show and played recordings of Biden and different things and hit sore subjects.
3 in a row.
And boom, we're off. Had to come back. Both of us had to come back on. If it was an internet, if if it was something in the routers or this, that we both wouldn't be kicked off.
Right.
Every time I've gotten kicked off, I've had full thing on my internet. I've been up 1 bar shy of full. So the answer, Greg, is if I had to guess, Doug and me, educated guess, when you see above 20, we're at about 50. Somewhere in that range, 40 to 60,
Right.
you know, give or take. And then there's people that'll never say nothing on that side and watch the show. I know that for a fact. So other than that, what'd you say? Other than that, guys, thanks for watching. I appreciate y'all. Yeah, next week, it won't be long. We'll be changing over to 7 o'clock again for the winter hours. So God bless y'all and God bless America.
See ya.